In the name of Allah, who is the most kind and most merciful. This is me, Sama Markhan, and I am the student of Sindh University campus, Larkana, from the English department and from the MA Produce 2K20 batch. And this is my presentation video of the prose subjects in my presentation topics. Uh, My presentation topics are Francis Bacon, of study, character of a pilgrim progress, and hero as a poet. Is Francis Bacon. Is Francis Bacon, he was a great prose writer of the Elizabethan age, and he was born in 22 January 1561 at York House, London, and he died on 9 April 1626 due to the pneumonia. In the biography, Taylor of the Francis Bacon told that he was experimenting on the ice, and because of this he suffered from the pneumonia and he died. Beside the great prose writer, he was also English philosopher, scientist, essayist, as well as the good lawyer and the author. And he was the son of the Nicholas Bacon. Is Nicholas Bacon, he was a Lord Keeper of a great seal of Queen Elizabeth. And Francis Bacon served as Attorney General, Lord Chancellor, Lord Keeper. And he was appointed as Attorney General in 1613, and he served as a Lord Chancellor of England from 1680 to the 1621. And he was appointed the Lord Keeper in 1670. After the succession of the James I in 1603, 1603, Francis Bacon was made knight, and at the age of 12, Francis Bacon studied at the Trinity College. And as Francis Bacon, when he was of the 12-year age, and he inspired the Queen Elizabeth, and she called him the young Lord Keeper. And he got married with a lady named the Alice Denham, and she was a lady with a property. As Francis Bacon entered in Parliament in 1584, and he remained in Parliament from 1584 to the 1584 to the 1618. As Francis Bacon, he was arrested in the case of the corruption in 1621, but he remained in jail just for the 4 days. In the writing style of the Francis Bacon was aphoristic style, a type of writing style in which we elaborate large things in just one sentence or in just one line. And he was created as a Baron Vallam in 1680. Francis Bacon got inspiration from the French writer from his essays, and that writer was the Montaigne, and inspiration from his essays. As Francis, after that, Francis Bacon started writing the essays. And Francis Bacon is also known as father of empiricism. As empiricism, it is a physiological belief, and according to it, that our knowledge is based on observation. Means our knowledge comes through the observations. And he is also known as the father of English essay. Why? Because he first time write the essays in the English language. In Francis, it is said that the true work of the prose was written by the Francis Bacon, and he is also known as the meanest person of the mankind. So let's move to the literary work. In the literary work of the Francis Bacon are Novum Organum, which Novum Organum means the new method, and it was published in 1620. In Novum Organum work of the Francis Bacon, it is based on the new method or the inductive method of the reasoning, and it was dedicated to the James I. In another work of the Francis Bacon is Advancement of the Learning, which was published in 1605. In Advancement of the Learning, that work is based on and the scientific reasoning, the scientific scheme of the Francis Bacon, and another work of the Francis Bacon, which was written in the Latin language, that is the New Atlantis work, and it is the incomplete work of the Francis Bacon. It is just like in the Utopia, in which there is imaginary island where the scientist and scholar inhabited. And Francis Bacon got inspiration from Thomas More Utopia, and he wrote this work. And the another work is the Meditation Sacri. Is it was published in 1597, the most important work of the Francis Bacon, which because of which he is renowned, or because of which he is known. That is the that is essay in the English language. And the first series of the Francis Bacon essay was contained the 10 essay, and it was published in 1597. The second series of the Francis Bacon contained the 38 essay, and that was published in 1612. And whereas the third series was also produced, and it contained the 58 to the 68 60 essays, and it was published in 1625. In the other work of the Francis Bacon is the History of Henry VIII. And my second topic is of study. Is of study. It is one of from the popular essays of the Francis Bacon, which was published in 1597. And in of study, Francis Bacon has told the merits as well as the demerits of the and as well as the merits and the demerits of the Francis of the study. And Francis Bacon in his study of studies told that study serves as a delight, means study as a source of happiness for us in our privateness or in our loneliness. And study serve as for ornament, means for the show off. We can use our study for the show off or for making our conversation attractive. And the third one is for ability, means study increases our ability and judgment in the business. And he also said that the spending too much time on the study causes the laziness, or we can say the sign of the laziness. And he also says that using the too much bookish knowledge in your conversation, in your discussion, it is a pride and it should be avoided. And he says that we shouldn't uh, we shouldn't observe or judge the person on the behalf of the bookish knowledge, because it is harmful in our real life. And he also says that study makes me nature perfect, but experience perfect our nature, means no doubt study trains the persons and to recreates the persons, but that is the experience which perfect our nature. And he also said that a crafty person or the cunning persons do not admire their study, they think that we are enough without in whereas the simple person admire their study in, but unfortunately they fail to use them in their practical life, whereas the wise men use them in their practical life. And he got the wisdom because of his experience. And whereas he also said that the book do not told his use in do not told his use in the practical life. And he also said that men shouldn't misuse his studies. Men shouldn't misuse his study, means men should not use men should not use his study for making the debate or for making the arguments with the others, but he should ponder and think over that what he have studied, and he should improve his judgment. And he also says that there are some books which we just read in the parts, and some books just hurriedly or we read their summary, and there are some books which we read carefully, and which we try to remember every point of it. And Francis Bacon says that reading makes me complete person, and writing exact, means by reading we can increase our knowledge, and by writing we can share our thoughts. And he also says that the studying reading of the books make a man learned persons, but he must have the wisdom, he must have the wit. And he says that is the various defects of the mind can be remedied by reading the certain kinds of the subjects, is that by studying the history subjects makes the man wise. and the poetry subjects makes men creative and the happy. And whereas if anyone is unable to concentrate, so he must study the mathematics subjects, and mathematics subject increases the sharpness of the mind. And philosophy subjects, by reading the philosophy subjects, our thoughts can be that deep. And just like the other exercises, study is the exercise of our mind. And he says that if anyone is unable to lose anyone in the discussion or can't prove himself in the discussion, so he must study the cases of the liars, and by reading them he can prove himself. And my third topic is the Pilgrim Progress character. And is the Pilgrim Progress, basically it is a Christian or the religious allegory which was written by the John Bunyan, and the narrator of the Pilgrim Progress is John Bunyan himself. And is the Christian, it is one of the most important, or we can say the protagonist character of the Pilgrim Progress allegory. And the Christian lives in the city of the destruction, and the journey of the Christian towards the celestial city is the plot of the Pilgrim Progress allegorical work. And another character is the evangelist. The evangelist is taken from the Greek word means the good news. Evangelist was a person who put the Christian on his uh, journey. And the third character is the obstinate. Is obstinate means the stubborn. And the fourth is character is pliable. Is obstinate as well as the pliable. These both characters was the inhabitant of the city of the destruction, and they wanted to return back the Christian from his journey, but pliable went with him. And other character is the help. Is help is the character which helped the Christians from the slough of the despond. And Mr. Worldly Wiseman, it is that character which tried to pursue the Christian, not to went through the this way, but take a shortcut way to the city of the celestial and went to the city of morality. And the other character is Mr. Legality, as he was the head of the city of morality. And other character is the Goodwill. As Goodwill, he was a lord keeper of a wicket gate. And Beelzebub is also another character. He was the leader of the Vanity Fair, in formalist, in hypocrisy. These are the characters which and the pure religious dressing are the veiled race, but they were the fake pilgrims. In the interpreter is that character which he was basically the Holy Spirit who tell the hidden meaning of the Bible to the Christian. In danger and destruction, these are also the characters, and these were the very dangerous characters. And another characters are mistrust in Timorous. Is mistrust in Timorous, these were the characters who also wanted to pursue the Christian. They return to Christian from back his journey by making him fear of the chained lion at the house beautiful. And Apollon, as he was the leader of city of destruction, and Apollon was one of the Shaitan companion, and he wanted to tie the Christian to return back from his journey. In faithful, he was an inhabitant of the city of the destruction, and he was also very loyal friend of the Christian. And hopeful, he was also in the loyal companion of the Christian. Shining ones, basically shining ones, these were the angels which appear throughout the Pilgrim Progress journey. And by ends it was a group of the fake pilgrims. Mr. Talkative was the character who was talking the useless things about the religions. And Lord Hate Good is Lord Hate Good, he was a judge at the Vanity Fair who killed the faithful from his trial at the Vanity Fair. In Ghent Despire, is Ghent Despire trap the Christian and hopeful and throw them into the bold storm. And another character is the Ignorance. Is Ignorance was a character. Ignorance was a character who was ignoring the belief of ignoring the belief of Christian and the hopeful. And atheist, the atheist was a character who was refusing, and he was saying that there's no any kind of concept of the god, and there's no any kind of the celestial city exist. And in why he was only the eyewitness of the and faithful trier in the Vanity Fair. And my last topic, that is a hero is a poet. Is hero is a poet. It is basically the third series of the lecture, which was delivered by the Thomas Carlyle on 12th May 1814. And according to the and Thomas Carlyle in Hero is a Poet says that heroes are the poet which are present throughout the all ages. And he also, and in Hero is a Poet, he has taken one of the two great literally figure, and these are the Dante and Shakespeare, and he called them that the hero is a poet. And he called the Dante and William Shakespeare as hero as a poet, not because of their work but because of the greatness in their life. And he argues that poets are also heroes, as like the prophets, like the priest, like the queen. And he discusses the work life in detailed biography of the Dante and Shakespeare in his lecture Hero is a Poet. And in first few lines he point out that the great fundamental character of a great man is a greatness, means the great man can be exist in the form of poet, prophet, priest. And he remind Carlyle remind that the word prophet as well as the poet, these were the synonym in the ancient languages, means they share the some common characteristic. As told poet told the open secret of the society to the people, and he tell the people what to love. And where is the prophet, he told the people what to do. And he has used the term wit for the poet as well as for the prophet, and he called them the saint of the poetry because of their genius unity. As Dante, he was a great Italian writer, and Thomas Carlyle got inspirations from the Dante's famous work Divine Comedy. Is Dante born in 1265, and he belonged to the upper class family, and he served as a soldier and also the magistrate of the Florence. And basically he loved a girl and she deceived him, and in the last stage of the life Dante was in a very poor condition, but he didn't stop to write. And Shakespeare is William Shakespeare. He was the a great writer of the Elizabethan age, and he paid major contribution to the Renaissance. And Thomas Carlyle has called him the hero because of their great contribution to the English language, as he has added 10,000 words in the English language by his drama, by his poetry. And he opines that as the Homer was to Greece and Dante to the Middle Ages, the Shakespeare same like was to the modern age. And Shakespeare has called him the priceless great soul, like a tranquil, unformable sea. So